It's a Thursday afternoon here in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. We're coming to you live from our studios in Lagos, iBrandTV. The show is The Arena, and I'm Samson Olede. It promises to be another exciting edition of the show. For football lovers, the Europa League final went down yesterday night, and what a final it was, over 120 minutes stalemate, with Frankfurt edging that on penalties. And for our own Nigerian brothers, the likes of Joe Aribo, Calvin Bassey, as well as Leon Balogun, they were at the receiving end of the loss when it comes to the lottery of penalties. It's on that note I say welcome to the show once again. I'm not doing this alone. I've got Akim Olaiwaju who joins me on the show today. Akim, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Samson. It's nice to be
We
back.
can shake hands now.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
more,
yeah.
you know, no more. Moreover, I've been vaccinated,
Oh,
double jab.
yeah.
I'm just left with my booster, so
Yeah, likewise,
we can
I'm
shake
God
hands.
save.
I mean,
you.
because the COVID period was challenging. You couldn't greet your loved ones. You couldn't hug. You know, it was really challenging on all fronts in terms of the physical, intimacy.
Content, yes.
How much more, jobs and all of that. But it's good that we're recovering from that gradually. That's not to say, folks shouldn't still be careful
Sure.
of, their health.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start the show and with some business news when it comes to the world of sports, and it all has to do with football. Now we'll start with Newcastle United. That's the biggest thing in England, and you can rest assured that in the coming 2-3 years, so many clubs will be scared of Newcastle United's spending power and the possibility of breaking into the top 4 or top 6. As aware, Newcastle United's new owners have reported a reduced loss after tax of £12.2 million and have pumped in £167.9 million since their arrival, the club's latest financial statement has revealed. Figures for the 11 months to June 30th, 2021, during which Mike Ashley was still at the helm, shows overall turnover fell by £12.4 million to £140.2 million, with match income slashed by 99% to just £200,000, and that's due to the absence of crowds at St. James's Park under COVID-19 restrictions. Now, media revenue increased by £13.2 million to £119.3 million, while the club's wages to turnover ratio fell from 79.4% to 76.2%, although that was in part due to the fact that the previous accounting period covered 13 months. The loss after tax represents a drop of £10.3 million on the previous period. Now, Amanda Stavely's 80% Saudi-backed consortium completed its takeover in October last year and has since injected almost £168 million in equity, partly in settlement of an outstanding interest-free loan owed to Ashley's St. James Holdings Limited. The figures reveal the former owner was due £106.9 million and also to fund signings in an ultimately successful bid to stave off relegation. Now, still talking sports business news at this time in the world of football. History was made on Wednesday when United States Soccer and the men's and women's national teams announced a collective bargaining agreement that will see the team's athletes receive equal pay. The agreement, which begins on June 1st and runs through June 2028, will see World Cup prize money pooled between both teams and split equally. Despite participating in nearly every World Cup since 1990, the United States men's team has never won the tournament. France's men's team received $38 million after winning the 2018 World Cup, while the U.S. women's national team, which won a year later, only took home $4 million. The women will have the same pay-to-play payment structure as the men, though not all women's players will have guaranteed salaries. Now, the teams will also split revenue made commercially, 10% of revenue between $55 million and $75 million, as well as 15% above $75 million at events. Now, the federation-controlled matches will go for $18,000 for a win, $12,000 for a draw, and $8,000 for a loss if the opposing team is ranked in the top 25. The announcement outlined all the benefits, including equality of venues, accommodations, and team staffing. The agreement also finalizes the U.S. women's national team's February equal pay settlement, in which the U.S. Soccer Federation will pay $22 million to the players. I'm sure that's good news for football lovers across the world. Now let's wrap up sports business news at this time with a bit of European football. UEFA has been working on a $6.3 billion rescue fund for the past year to assist European soccer clubs in recovering from pandemic-related financial woes. but that has been reportedly halted. Problems have surfaced over details about how the fund would sit within UEFA and be distributed to clubs. It was set to include an emergency funding facility, a separate amount for future crises, and new rules regarding financial fair play. Now, Citigroup, which was hired to arrange the package, but will only get its full fee if the fund is a success, while the fund could materialize in the future, UEFA is reportedly looking at other options, including a separate board. No matter the option UEFA ends up choosing, it's clear that most European clubs need the assistance. According to Deloitte, the European football market contracted by 13% for the first time since the global financial crisis in 2008-2009. The same report found that the big five European leagues saw revenue decline by 11% in 2019 to 2020 to around $16.4 billion from $18.6 billion the season before. Previous reports said clubs would be able to restructure existing debts and have access to funds at lower borrowing rates as part of the package. Yes, and what the final it was, just as I said earlier on at the show, over 120 minutes, 1-1, both teams couldn't be separated, and it got down to the lottery of penalties with Frankfurt starring in this one. But for Frankfurt, considering they defeated Barcelona in the quarterfinals, West Ham in the semifinals, they would feel that this is well deserved. What do you make of the performance from both teams, it must be said?
Both teams yesterday, they actually play very well. It's very saddening that they had to play on
the only one winner.
The only one winner. But honestly, anytime team has to play penalty in the final, it's only very, very saddening.
Difficult,
because penalty, it doesn't determine the quality of any particular team. But all in all, Rangers, they can actually, maybe they will have to wait for next season. Probably, maybe I think they qualify for Champions League for this coming season as well. But the player, they gave their all on the team of play for 120 minutes.
Yes.
Something is not a joking matter for a player to play for 120 minutes, and you could see the kind of the pressure that is actually on that match. And if you look at the venue of the match, that is Sevilla, you can see that Frankfurt has large number of supporters. The fans. They were really.
I was about talking about that. You know, in the quarterfinals, they played against Barcelona, by the way, just as I mentioned, and the first leg ended 1-1 in Frankfurt. Barcelona, you know, scoring a goal there to equalize, and it seemed like going into the second leg at Nou Camp, it was a stroll on the park for Barcelona, the second leg of the quarterfinal. But we had, you know, Frankfurt running out 3-2 winners. In fact, they took a 3-0 lead at some point before Barcelona rallied on to, you know, level matters, but that, you know, ended in futility. Now the question, the issue is this: in the second leg, we had over 30,000 Frankfurt fans in attendance at Camp Nou, which even superseded, or rather exceeded, the number of Barcelona fans in the stadium. And you had the Barcelona president Juan Laporta, you know, complain about that. Even Xavi there saying there was going to be an investigation to why the away fans were outnumbered. The home fans rather were outnumbered by the away fans. It shows you the support cast, how the supporters are, you know, really invested in this team. We saw a white wall all through yesterday in the stadium. You think the fans really played a major role?
Yes. The fans actually play a major role in that particular game. And if you, like what you are referring to, the match against Barcelona,
that was in quarterfinal.
Even the coach of the Barcelona, Xavi, was actually saying that he doesn't know what happened, how the fans were actually able to get together. Just like the slogan of Liverpool, they don't walk alone. So I think Frankfurt also, they don't walk alone. The fans actually play a major role in that yesterday match.
And let's talk about Rafael Santos Borre. He scored the equalizer for them, scored the winning penalty as well. It was a thorn in the flesh for Barcelona. I mean, Barcelona fans will probably want to forget him as quickly as possible. You think that this season is probably Frankfurt's best player by a mile?
I think is, let me call it, is their season. So we can see. But definitely, you definitely bear with me witness that Liverpool was Barcelona, for example, were not in their best as at the time they
were on an unbeaten run.
They are on an unbeaten run, but they are just coming up.
Well, the last time they lost prior to losing to Frankfurt was December last year.
Yes.
Before losing to Frankfurt in April. So I mean, 4 months. That's also a fantastic run.
But all in all, you can see the team, the Frankfurt team, have actually there is cohesiveness among the players, just like the present crop of players in Liverpool. And I hope they can be able to keep all these players together. They won't sell them when the season, the new transfer market starts. If they can keep these players together, or maybe they should just look for 1 or 2 players to add to it. They will be a very good team to look out for in the Champions League next season.
Yes, there you have it. The reward for you know, winning the Europa League is the Champions League, and you know, entering Frankfurt would definitely be playing the UEFA Champions League next season. Now let's talk about matches we have today. For most leagues, you know, we know the champions, we know teams that are relegated, but in the Premier League and the Italian Serie A, we are yet to know the winners of those leagues. Now, for the Premier League, we have 3 matches today. Chelsea against Leicester City is seemingly non-consequential because both teams are not playing for anything. Chelsea guaranteed of Champions League football next season. Leicester are not going to Europe and they're not threatened by relegation. What do you expect? It's more like a dead rubber game. Just Chelsea probably seeking to finish the season on a strong note.
But I believe Rodgers is not actually playing. He's not taking this match likely because the last interview that he was granted by a journalist, he was saying that at least they want to finish maybe the top 10 in the league, and anything short of victory in this particular game, it means that it will definitely come down from the table. So I hope to see him. I hope to see the Leicester City at least a draw will actually help them out of this.
Exactly.
Because presently now Chelsea also they want to finish strong to end the season. So it's not a dead rubber game.